Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mouthing Off with Mike Wrestling Podcast. And listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm sorry. I have been missing you guys here for the last couple weeks. I have neglected my duties as a podcast host, and I am sorry. But life took me around like a tornado, and I thought I was Matt Hardy and I could slap a tornado, but I got sucked up in the vortex. But we are back. Thankfully, that tornado that is called life dropped me back off here in the Mouthing Off with Mike Wrestling Podcast studio, and we've got ourselves a WWE premium live event to talk about coming at you from Saudi Arabia. And we've got Crown Jewel, and we've got a great match card, the return of the kickoff match, and some potential surprises that may be wandering around the corner. So we're going to get into it here with, of course, the Mouthing Off with Mike Wrestling Podcast Crown Jewel predictions. So don't go anywhere. We've got a great show planned for you that you can watch the predictions on YouTube. You can listen to them on Spotify, Apple, Google, iHeart. The list goes on when it comes to the audio side. So don't go anywhere. We're going to get right into that first match, Sami Zayn and JD McDonough, right now. And gentlemen, you heard the intro. You know what you're in for. We are talking WWE Crown Jewel predictions, not family jewel predictions. You want to make sure that those are safe and sound these days. You never know when you're going to need those family jewels. But the first match that we're going to talk about is going to see Sami Zayn take on JD McDonough, a.k.a. JD McFunko Pop Head, according to Cody Rhodes, a.k.a. JD Don't McGoogle Me, according to Kevin Owens. That's a deep cut for you back in the NXT 2.0 days. But this is a very interesting match here. You know, JD McDonough has been trying to his best to find a spot in the Judgment Day. Every week it seems like JD is the sacrificial lamb for the Judgment Day. Cody Rhodes just this past week on Monday Night Raw hit this man with 2 crossroads on the announce desk. So he's vying for a position, and he has to win against Sami Zayn, in my mind, to probably get that spot in the Judgment Day. But Sami Zayn, with an impassioned promo this week on Raw, gives me all the indicator that Sami Zayn is going to win this kickoff. The next match that we're going to take a look here on the Crown Jewel match card is going to be the 16-time champ, you can't see me, John Cena, taking on the enforcer to the tribal chief, Solo Sikoa. And let's just hope John Cena does not get thumbed again by Solo, because throughout the month of September, throughout the month of October, poor Johnny boy has been getting thumbed a lot. And I have to say, John Cena cut a promo a few weeks ago that he is on like an over 2,000 day losing streak. And I mentioned this in a past video, past episode of the show, where if you would have told me that, you know, primetime John Cena days, you know, back in like 2010, 2011, 2012, all the way really up to, you know, 2015, 2016, you said John Cena has lost 2,000 straight matches, I would have slapped you and called you a fool. But that is the absolute truth. And John Cena has everything to prove in this match against Solo Sikoa. And I have to say, I think where the story's heading is I think Solo Sikoa is going to get a big singles win against the former 16-time world champion, John Cena, the greatest of all time. So my pick, Solo Sikoa to beat John Cena at Crown Jewel. The next match that we're going to take a look at here is going to see Senor Money in the Bank, Damian Priest, the Archer of Infamy, take on the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And this match was made just about a week ago after the Judgment Day, and Priest essentially tried to break Cody's ankle. Now, Cody, you know Cody's not going to let that one go. So the challenge was made, Cody versus Priest at Crown Jewel. Now, my winner of this match and my pick is going to see the American Nightmare overcome Senor Money in the Bank. Now, I have a feeling this match is going to be closer to the beginning of this show than closer towards the end. And now the reason for that is I believe that we very well may see Priest cash in that briefcase. And I think this could open the show or at least be the second match on the show. Now I'm going in the order of like how I would place the card. So if you're wondering how Mike would book Crown Jewel, this is the exact order I would do the matches in. As for the winner, I think Cody's going to get the win. Big babyface win for Cody, continuing with the story and all of the hurdles that he's overcoming to get back to the Undisputed World Championship. The next match that we're going to take a look at here on the Crown Jewel match card is going to see the women's champion, the Genius of the Sky, Io Sky, defend her title against the EST of WWE, Bianca Belair. Now, I think this is going to be a really good match on the Crown Jewel match card. I think it's going to be one of those matches where going into it, a lot of fans are going to be like, we've kind of seen this in some sort of capacity. Me personally, I love Io Sky. I love Bianca. So this is a really hard one for me to pick a winner. I think Io Sky is going to retain her title, but I have to discuss it because there's been a lot of ramped up discussions and rumors across social media, across the dirt sheets, that Kairi Sane is headed back to WWE. Now, if you're not familiar with Kairi Sane, she had a stint in WWE a couple years ago. She was released. Then she went back, to the Joshi scene. She was out there, in Japan wrestling, a couple different promotions. But her, Io, and Asuka actually have history together. They were in a group back in their days in Japan. So there's some history there. And with Triple H being in full creative control, I could totally see Kairi Sane being a woman that Triple H would want to bring back into the fold here in the women's division, because there's a couple good stories that you could tell. Io Sky reuniting with Kairi Sane, and maybe even Asuka reforming their group in WWE to take on Damage Control. Obviously, we know Dakota's not medically cleared, but you could definitely place somebody in Damage Control for the time being, especially if you lose Io. Maybe Bayley goes out there and finds two partners. I don't know, but with the rumors behind Kairi Sane possibly returning, it could make some sense that Kairi Sane makes an appearance and helps Io Sky retain her title. I guess time will tell when it comes to the Genius of the Sky and the Sky Pirate. The next match that I'm going to talk about here on the match card is going to see Seth freaking Rollins defend his World Heavyweight Championship against Drew McIntyre. Now, these two have sold this match for me. This is one of those matches on the card that I cannot miss. There's such a great history between Seth and Drew. A lot of it parallels. Now, how does it parallel, you may ask? Yes, I know Drew came into the fold. He was the chosen one. I understand that and everything. But when Drew came back this second run, he started off NXT. He won the NXT championship. He got up to the main roster. He held some tag gold with Dolph Ziggler. He then transitioned into the main event title picture, winning the title at WrestleMania during the COVID era. So his title win, and the big one, happened with no fans in attendance. So that's really where this story is driven from. Plus, Drew's really not over what happened at Clash at the Castle last year and how the Bloodline essentially took his moment away from him. So he's looking to get that moment. He's looking to have a world title win in front of fans. And Seth's whole thing is essentially, look, man, get over it. And Drew essentially is like, I can't get over it. I'll never get over it. And that is why Drew and Seth are headed for a Clash course at Crown Jewel. Now, the head says Seth Rollins is going to retain his title, but something inside of me is going to go kind of against the tide here. And I'm going to pick Drew to win the match and Drew become the new World Heavyweight Champion. Now, you heard me mention it just a few moments ago that I have a feeling that Damian Priest might cash in, and I think that's what could end up happening. Drew wins the title in a hard-fought match, similar to what I kind of predicted I thought was going to happen with Shinsuke and Seth, but I was wrong. So I'll keep making the prediction until I get it right. You know what they say, right? You make a prediction 10 times, maybe one time it comes right. I'll make the prediction again. Hard fought match. Drew wins the title from Seth. Priest cashes in. And then we have a whole new beef between Drew and the Judgment Day because we know that Drew has kind of been cozying up with them. I like it. I want Drew to win the title. I want him to have that moment and rightfully because he deserves it. We are flying by here on the Mouthing Off with Mike Wrestling Podcast, Crown Jewel predictions, not to be confused with Family Jewel predictions. That's just a pop for myself. I'm sorry. We are going to touch base on the next women's title match where we're going to see Mommy Rhea Ripley defend her Women's World Championship against 4 other women. The forms that we are going to see: Raquel Rodriguez, Zoe Stark, Nia Jax, and the baddest woman on the planet, Shayna Baszler. Now, look, this is going to be another one of those matches that I truthfully feel people are going to overlook on this match card. I am extremely excited about the perspective of a fatal 5-way women's match. Mwah, chef's kiss, right up my alley. So excited. I got the camera shaking here, so don't mind that. But I am very excited for this match. We're going to see some big, muscly women bumping meat and muscles here in this match with Nia, Raquel, and Rhea. Of course, Zoe Stark, one of the best women's wrestlers in the game right now in ring work. So really, this could go anywhere. But I think that the winner of this match, and still Women's World Heavyweight Champion, Mommy Rhea Ripley. Now, another match here that has my attention is one that the winner, who I think is going to be someone people are not going to be too happy about. That's going to see the legend himself, another GOAT in the game, Hall of Famer, Rey Mysterio, defend his United States Championship against the Maverick, Logan Paul. Now, look, I have found a newfound respect for Logan. Some of his promo work, the way he's been hyping up the match, and just overall how much more serious he seems to be taking this WWE superstar career has me wanting to see what he can do in the ring. Like, I'm never going to root against anybody who wants to step foot in a wrestling ring unless, it's taking opportunities away from other wrestlers, which you could argue it is. But at the same time, when you bring a social media star to the ring like Logan Paul, you're going to bring a ton more eyes on the product. And that's what's been happening. More and more people from that YouTube social media community are watching the wrestling. It's becoming commonly talked about. Logan on his podcast, Impulsive, it's usually one of, if not the top conversation on his show, if not once a week or if not multiple times a week. So I love it. And I think especially with Logan coming off the heels of that boxing match with, Dylan Dennis, and really it's not even a match. At the end of the day, I think a great way to test the waters with Logan is to put the United States Championship on Logan. You can set up so many interesting feuds. You could set one up with Theory. You could set one up with Waller, Santos Escobar. If LA Knight doesn't beat Roman, you could set one up with LA Knight because those two have had an interaction during the Money in the Bank season. So I think the winner of this match is going to be Logan. And I think that's going to leave a lot of people upset. But I'm very interested to see how it breaks down. We've got one final match left on the Crown Jewel match card, and I conveniently saved it for the last match because I think it is going to be the main event of Crown Jewel. If you made it this far here on the Mouthing Off with Mike Crown Jewel prediction special, then you know we're talking the last match on the match card, the match that I probably would bet my bottom dollar to be the main event, the Roman Reigns versus LA Knight undisputed heavyweight championship match. Now listen, ladies and gentlemen, my heart yearns for LA Knight to defeat Roman Reigns and become the new undisputed champion. But my brain is telling me that Roman will successfully defend his title. Now take a pause. Let that sink in. It's knocking. LA Knight went from male model obscurity, potentially getting the chop in WWE, to being one of the top guys in the company, garnering a top guy response weekly, garnering merch sales that only can compare to the likes of John Cena, Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the megastar. That is a megastar, in fact. So for him, just a year ago, to possibly be released to now fighting Roman Reigns for the Undisputed Championship, that's awesome. This is a great rub for him. Even if he is unsuccessful in his quest to dethrone Roman, this does wonders for his stock, because now immediately legitimizes the chance that he has to become US champion, Intercontinental champion if he ever gets over to the Raw side, or even better yet, it could mean maybe he's a favorite to win the Royal Rumble. Now, like I said, the heart yearns for LA Knight to win here, and I would go absolutely crazy. My neighbors would probably hate me because this pay-per-view is going to be taking place at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Saturday, November the 4th. So my neighbors probably are not even going to be up yet, and they're going to be hearing me yelling about professional wrestling. Neighbors hate me. Secret. Now, as for this match, I think it's going to be a damn good match, but I think the finish is where things are going to get a little wonky. Now, I got to give shout out and much love to the Yeah Revolution Twitter page here, because they've got a theory, and I like to think that this theory has some weight to it, because we've seen Nick Aldis unveiled as the SmackDown general manager. He's been very buddy-buddy with Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns. So could Nick Aldis screw LA Knight? It's a theory the Yeah Revolution has thrown out there. It's a theory that, as I come to think about it as the weeks go on, it's got some weight to it. But I still think there's going to be a wonky finish. And whether that means Jimmy interferes, Nick Aldis interferes, Solo interferes, hell, even maybe Paul Heyman gets in on the action. But I don't think LA Knight is going to win the title, but I think he's going to look damn good in this match. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is Mouthing Off with Mike's Crown Jewel predictions. Make sure you got your family jewels in place, because I've got more content coming your way this week. Yes, I neglected you guys for 2 weeks, so I got to make it up to you. You got to get more of me in your lives, in your ears, on your screens, wherever you listen or watch the podcast, which means that I got to make a couple announcements here. So you're watching the Crown Jewel video prediction episode. I will have a recap of the Crown Jewel event. That is going to be an audio exclusive episode. So you'll find that on my Spotify, Apple, anywhere you find audio podcasts. And then Sunday morning, I will be debuting the Mouthing Off with Mike is All Elite, my AEW recap show. So I've neglected a lot of things here. Life, like I said earlier, taking me like a tornado. I thought I could slap a tornado on my Matt Hardy, but I'm just a human. So I appreciate you guys sticking with me. Make sure you give me a follow on the social medias at MOWM_podcast. That is across the board. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's TikTok, that's Threads, that's Twitch, that's Kick. We're going to talk a little bit more about those two in the near future, but that is all for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me which match you're excited about for Crown Jewel. Ladies and gentlemen, from your host here at the Mouthing Off with Mike Wrestling Podcast, I'm signing off. Go out there and enjoy some pro wrestling this weekend.